Thank you so much, Rabbi Mark. Thank you, Natalie. Thanks to all of you for being here. It really feels like such an honor and a blessing to connect in this way before Pesach, before Passover begins tomorrow night. So if we haven't met before, it's really such a treat to connect for the first time. If we have met before, wonderful to be back together. And again, I'm Allison or Allie, either works. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And today I'm calling in from the lands of the Piscataway and Nacotchtank peoples, also known as Washington, D.C. And I thought that before offering some words of reflection, we could continue to arrive together, just taking the next few moments to pause and to honor, oh, I made the choice. We made the choice to carve out this time. It's quite a choice. It's a powerful one. It's a healing one. What's coming to mind is the writer Pico Ier's phrase, in a world of constant movement, there is nothing more urgent than sitting still. And so you might just take a moment right now, perhaps rest a hand on the heart or belly or both. Just sensing the tenderness of being human with other humans. Perhaps noticing inflow becoming outflow, outflow becoming inflow. And connecting or reconnecting with your kavanah, your intention for this time. Just dropping into the heart for a moment. And honoring whatever led you to show up today. Attuning to this field of kavanot, this field of intention that each of us is contributing to in this co-created space. Thank you for being here and thank you for your practice. So I just wanted to add to the daily sit, day by day set of reflections on Pesach. And as part of the Passover Seder, which is the ritual retelling of the Passover tale, there's a mitzvah or obligation that I love and that I've been reflecting on and musing over. And this is the commandment of hasebah, or reclining. So, though Jews over the centuries have debated who, how, when during the Seder we should recline, there's for the most part a consensus that it's important for some period of the Seder to recline in a seated posture, to sense into the back of your body and allow it to rest, still upright if possible, and preferably on a pillow. Why? Well, there are many reasons, but among these reasons is an understanding that this posture is a way of embodying freedom and the human heart's yearning for freedom. So, where I'm going from here is an exploration, just briefly, on the relationship between freedom and the back of the body, or the back body, as it's called in the mindfulness and yoga worlds. And then we'll go into a period of guided meditation. In rabbinic commentary and in Kabbalah, there's this really interesting and beautiful belief that each of us has what's known as a luz bone located along the spine. In English, it's spelled L-U-Z, meaning nut or almond or hazel, and it's supposed to be around the size of a nut, though there is another perspective that suggests it's the size of a kernel of barley. So you can just go with whichever one resonates more with you, a nut or a kernel of barley? Either way, the understanding is that this loose bone, it's literally indestructible. Even after we die, it will never disintegrate. So one of the interpretations related to this bone that most resonates with me is that each of us has a unique and ever-present essence or energy, perhaps a soul, if that language resonates with you, that even, as Rebbe Nachman of Bratslav offers, that even in the most difficult moments is still there somewhere, that no one, no thing, no circumstance can ever take it away from us. And that this part of our back or part of the spine, it reminds us of this indestructible kind of freedom. So I don't think it's a coincidence that we're expected to recline back, that this bone is said to be located in our backs, that when we meditate, the invitation is to take a posture that allows the back body to be both wakeful and relaxed. What I've found in my own life, and curious if this resonates, when I find myself worrying about something, or when I'm finding it difficult to make a decision, or I'm reading the news obsessively in a misguided attempt to grasp onto some kind of control by educating myself, even when there's no control to be had, or when I'm experiencing some other kind of stress, often when I pause to notice my body, the body is leaning forward, it's contracted, shoulders are tight. I've forgotten my back. I've forgotten the existence of the back of the body. And even a moment of remembering, oh, right, this is a three-dimensional body, and there's a back to it. And in a sense, I take my seat again. This gives me a bit more access to spaciousness, to equanimity, to the breath, to perspective. Hineni, here I am, all of me and the indestructibility of some aspect of being human. There's a related saying, strong back, soft front. And there have been many interpretations of this over the years, but I particularly like this one, which comes from the teacher Bev Janish. And she offers a strong back is about stability and our capacity to uphold ourselves, especially during difficult times. It means we are cultivating an ability to maintain a calm mind with emotional and mental stability, enabling us to be grounded, rooted, and strong, while remaining flexible, adaptable, and open to change. Strong back, soft front. The soft front is about opening to things as they are. Cultivating this quality within ourselves enables us to remain open to life without shutting down or collapsing. When we cultivate a strong back and soft front within ourselves, Bev offers, we can weather the storms of life with more strength, wisdom, grace, and openness. We develop the ability to grow as a result of the challenges. Strong back, soft front, loose bone. You might think of this as a communal kavanah. How can we bring loving attention to the back of the body, literally and metaphorically and spiritually, as a way of cultivating a greater sense of freedom? This theme of Pesach, in response to the ever-changing circumstances of life. So we're going to move now into a meditation practice that really encourages us to take our seats in whatever posture we're in and inhabit ourselves more fully, and perhaps even touch briefly or attune to a refuge, an indestructibility, a strength within us that can often be forgotten. As a reminder, some of you have heard me say this before, if anything arises during this period of practice that feels beyond your kind of window of tolerance or your range of resilience, something just feels like, oh, this feeling or sensation is a bit too much for this moment. Just remembering you have options, you can shake things out, take a sip of water, stop meditating. None of that makes you a bad meditator. It means that you are attuned to yourself, tending to yourself with care, which is one of the pillars of any and all practices offered through IJS. You might find your way to whatever posture feels nourishing for you right now. We'll be practicing together for about the next 12 minutes or so. Eyes open, eyes closed, turning inward in whatever way feels right. Maybe you deepen the breath if that's supportive for this moment's nervous system. A deep sip in, inhaling, an extended release out, exhaling. Inhaling, Hineni, here I am. Exhaling, Hinenu, here we are. And if you have been deepening the breath, you might just let it return to its natural rhythm, receiving the cycle of breathing, receiving the inflow, receiving the outflow. Thinking may be happening, emotions may be visiting, sensations may be making themselves known. All of it held in the field of awareness. None of it a problem. It's just like this right now, this moment of being human, breath by breath, as the body makes contact, as the body rests on whatever surface may be behind it or beneath it, your feet connected to the floor beneath. This imperfect, holy body. It's like this right now. If you'd like to, you might just gently bring attention to the back of your body. Letting the breath fill it, bringing a sense of curiosity and perhaps even gratitude to the three-dimensional experience of being human. Gentle attention to the shoulders and shoulder blades, the spine, mid back, lower back. And somewhere along the spine, this elusive lose bone. A mystical, mythical, embodied reminder of our capacities for strength, courage, and an untouchable freedom in the midst of it all. And it may be that as we practice together, a certain area of the body feels like a natural anchor for your attention, a place to return to or reconnect with when the mind feels scattered or when it drifts off. And that anchor may even be the sensations of the breath at the shoulders or back. So we'll take the next few minutes in quiet, breath by breath, to be here now, supported by each other and our shared commitment to practice. Sensing into this whole body, especially the back body. As we move into the last few minutes of this period of practice, the invitation is in your own way to engage in a kind of meditative haseba, seeing if perhaps you can recline this practice of reclining, this practice of haseba. Seeing if you can gently recline, relax a bit more in the posture you're in. Freeing yourself, in a sense, from any conceptions of what a meditative posture should look like or should be. Resting, allowing yourself to inhabit a bit more of an easeful embodiment. One moment at a time. What would it be like to underdo it? Less efforting, more resting back. May our practice together today, on this day before Pesach, may it support us in remembering that when we pause long enough and orient towards what we can resource in and take refuge in ourselves, may we be reminded of all that we can draw from as we orient over the course of this holiday towards freedom. Thank you for your practice.
Thank you so much, Alison, for guiding us so beautifully into the holiday today. Grateful to you. And let's seal that beautiful practice as we do each day. Those of you who are in mourning, observing a yard site, for whom it's the custom to join in the mourner's Kaddish, are invited to do so. If you're not reciting Kaddish, you're invited to stay present to support those who are. If you're reciting Kaddish, you can put the name or names of anyone you're honoring today in the chat now or after Kaddish is over. Thanks to Natalie for sharing the words on the screen. And if you are joining me, please rise in body or in spirit, and you can unmute at this time. Friends, thanks so much for joining us today. If you're leaving us now,
Thanks, Mia.
I want to wish you a Chag Sameach and hope you have a meaningful Passover. Hope that our practice today will support you in that and will help you find a little bit of a deeper sense of meaning in the holiday at such a fraught time for our people and for the world. Um, and once again, just a reminder to please feel free to avail yourself of all the resources on our YouTube channel to support you. You can always listen to them or listen to the podcast, Jewish Meditation for Everyone, or Josh Fagelson's Soulful Jewish Living. Um, and we hope we'll see you back here on Monday. And if you're staying on, which you hope you will, you're welcome just to continue to sit with that beautiful practice guidance that Alison offered, or join us for a conversation. And you can share in the chat any reflections about your experience or any questions about the teaching um, uh, or about practice in general that you'd like to ask Alison. Welcome to do that, and I'll try to work it into the conversation.
Chag
Well, thank
Sameach, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
yeah,
Aziz and Pesach. Yeah.
Aziz and Pesach. Alison, first of all, just going to say that my self-clean oven is on, and I can I'm was sitting during our practice, both taking in your guidance, and as the backdrop, having the kind of a little bit of a buzz of that self-clean oven that felt very enveloped in Pesach in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Um, so this is a really rich, amazing teaching. And I want to go back over it because I think, honestly, I'll be honest, I never heard of the lose bone, but um, it's an amazing thing. So I want to thank you for bringing this gem to us today. Um, and I have some clarifying questions first. Okay, so the overall theme is strong back and its relationship to freedom or liberation, I guess, right? And bringing awareness to our back and how it supports us through whatever challenges. And the idea that there's this bone in our back, this very tiny bone that is indestructible, can't be impacted in any way, shape, or form, and that actually is going to be kind of the seed of resurrection, you know, for those who believe in like literal resurrection, but even if we take it non-literally, metaphorically, that it's kind of this bone of constant renewal in some way, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm interested in the question, I always think about reclining, and most of the readings in Haggadot that I've seen is usually think about reclining as, well, that's a sign of freedom because you can kind of chill out, you don't have to be on alert, right? When
Mm.
you're sitting upright, you're like on alert. But reclining is kind of like, it's not lying down, but it's a restful kind of position to be in. So I was curious if you meant to make a connection between the reclining and that, or are we mostly just focusing on awareness of the back and the strong back as an element in liberation? Or can we turn this into an intention for reclining at the Seder? I guess is what I'm saying.
Guess I would say yes to all of it, Rabbi Mark. I was trying to offer a variety of different entry points
Mm-hmm.
into one, this concept, which I've found extraordinarily transformative in
Mm-hmm.
my own life, just this sense of um, an indestructibility in the midst of it all, especially in the midst of times like these that
Mm-hmm.
are just on a daily basis such a shock to the nervous system and the heart.
Yeah.
And so for some of us, it may be helpful to think of it as a literal part of the back that we can connect to as we recline. That's an embodied reminder of this indestructibility in the midst of all that's transpired in our lives, our ancestors' lives, the world, and we can sense into that as we recline. by all
Mm-hmm.
means. And because we're in this culture of being hunched over cell phones and leaning towards screens, and like often on Zoom, I'll remind myself, I have a back. I am
Mm-hmm.
not only the front of my body. That there can be, and this is also key for navigating challenging communications, to remember our three-dimensionality, to remember, oh, right, even though it feels like all the energy is in the face, the throat, the chest, there are other parts of the body that are inviting me to mm, take a seat of integrity and breath and fullness,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing attention to the back of the body in a 21st century world that tends to forget about it can just generally be helpful. And so I think for each of us, it can be interesting to just inquire, how does this lose bone teaching support
Mm-hmm.
us? For some of us, that may be in a physical, embodied way through the back of the body. For others of us, it may just be this notion of indestructibility and an indestructible freedom or essence that cannot be tarnished, regardless of what may be swirling.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this is making sense.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, and like with any offering, what I appreciate about the IJS Daily Sits and this model is that the invitation is to listen for and feel into something that resonates with you and that
Mm-hmm.
helps you as you make the transition from the sit to the rest of your day or the rest of your life, that helps you show up with a bit more integrity, wisdom, compassion, rootedness. And I think with the loose bone, there are so many different ways of going about that. The one thing I do want to note, strong back, soft front
Yep.
is meant to mm, be understood both on an embodied level, like, okay, I'm going into this thing trying to be courageous in the midst of my fear or this or that, and I'm noticing I've got strength. And may I not armor up the front of my body? May I not be defensive or angry, or may I root and rise with this soft front?
Mm-hmm.
But it can also be used metaphorically. How do
Mm-hmm.
we interweave strength and tenderness in our relationships and in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
and in the way we orient towards a brutal world that's both brutal and beautiful?
Mm. Really striking me that soft and strong, the soft front, strong back, as we move into the Omer, that those two qualities are the first two qualities that we deal with, but not necessarily in that order. It's soft. If we think about Hesed,
Yeah,
a loving connection, as the soft front, and Gevura as the kind of strength that represents the back, although that's not those aren't the parts of the body that those qualities correspond to necessarily, but they call that to mind to be able to hold, having both in some way. But the other thing I was thinking about, Ali, was that reclining requires, maybe there's some Pilates people here who know more about strong core than I do, but probably there are, that to recline, although we recline using a pillow and support,
yeah,
requires, a strength, right? If you don't have a strong back, you really can't recline in a
yeah.
way. So it does engage, and it engages that part of the body in some
Hmm.
way. And so I don't know. I'm looking forward to, would love to see you write a kavana that we can use at our seders for reclining based on this and the lose bone. There's a couple of beautiful things in the chat. I don't know if you have a chance to see that, but
Yeah, I'm just starting to look. I did just want to name one thing that
yes.
I want to apologize for, and should have mentioned from the beginning, which is that I have a book coming in the mail that Rabbi Lauren Tuckman recommended to me called Healing Ableism, and it
Hmm.
focuses on um, ableism in religious and spiritual spaces.
Hmm.
And there was a wonderful question in the chat about, well, what if I have bad posture?
Right.
Or what if the
Scoliosis or
body,
scoliosis.
Yeah, or
Scoliosis.
scoliosis. And I do have actually minor scoliosis. And what does that then mean, especially in a meditation space when we're using the language of upright or, and what I want to be very explicit about is in talking about the back can be in whatever shape, whatever posture feels appropriate for your body.
Hmm.
And we can bring a sense of a spiritual uplift to that, whether
Hmm.
or not the body itself is meant to be in a particular posture. And so
Hmm.
I want to apologize because I think I could have stated that earlier. And it's very important to me, and I know it is to you too, Rabbi Mark, that in these spaces, especially
Hmm.
spaces that invite people of any and all backgrounds and bodies to participate, that there isn't inadvertently the message that if your body cannot be in this posture, you somehow don't belong in this space or cannot access spiritual heights.
Mm. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for, I think apology not necessary, but really appreciate you um, adding that caveat. Um,
And I'm
and just
seeing,
being like, yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just seeing some beautiful shares in the chat about,
Yeah.
yeah, about all that's unfolding. And
Hmm. This great song from, thank you, Cheryl, for this song, Lean Back. Which is interesting. We have to think about like reclining. Reclining is traditionally to the side, but um, first of all, as you're saying, first we can think about this metaphorically also, right? Not just physically,
right,
right? There's like, and also the lose bone is seems to me that's universally applicable regardless of the condition of anybody's back, right? If it's an indestructible aspect of ourselves that
exactly.
represents that. Um, I don't know. I've been looking. One of the things we've started doing at our Seder is, and we do this for Tzafun for the hidden part. When we go look for when we look for the Afikomen, and
Yeah.
and you put the broken Afikomen back together, and so I take a quote about freedom and cut up the words, and everyone gets a word under their plate, and then collectively we have to assemble the quote for the when for the Afikomen. And there are many quotes. I can't think of one off the top of my head now about being aware that there's a part of ourselves that cannot be touched by anything external, especially people who have been political prisoners for a long time who've written about that. Maybe I'm thinking about Nelson Mandela or, you know, people who survived the Shoah, but, where there was a sense of there's a part of myself that no one can take from me, that is
Yes.
inextricably tied to freedom. I am, on that level, and that we can build freedom outwards from that, that becomes the scaffolding in some way. Anything else you're seeing in the chat that you want to comment
Yeah, no,
on?
I really I appreciate all that you've shared. And also just want to say I love all the sharing of resources in the chat because I didn't bring a source sheet for today. And part of that is because there are innumerable fascinating sources related to this particular bone. And some of them are now being shared in the chat. And I
Yeah.
encourage you to do a deep dive. And what I'll say and what I'm thinking about this saying that I often chuckle over two Jews, three opinions. And when it comes to the lose bone, that is the truth. There are debates about where it is along the spine. Is it at the top of the spine? Is it at the bottom of the spine? Where does it even exist? And Rebbe Nachman of Breslov also just has some beautiful words to share on the loose bone. And so may you over Pesach during Chol HaMoed, may you just have fun exploring this concept that's lesser known and also can be a well of compassionate wisdom that we draw strength from.
Hmm.
And I think it's actually, I was so glad you brought up Nelson Mandela. And I think many traditions point to this possibility of indestructibility.
Hmm.
And some human beings who have survived so much speak to it themselves, as you named.
Hmm.
And it can be interesting to root in it. Um, And so, yeah, that's what I'll offer. I did see, oh, thanks so much, Natalie, for putting these in the chat.
But do want to, yeah, we should, in
Oh,
the
that's
minute we've
sweet.
got, let's do a little plug here because I think this
Oh,
is
okay, thanks.
I have people will want to know this. That's fine. I want to make sure we get this in. So for those who are interested, as you know, if you've been here when Ali has led before, you're highly recommended to sign up for Allison's Two Wings Mindfulness newsletter. And also, maybe you want to say a word about this program that you're doing in May. Another way to be navigating powerful emotions through the RAIN process and Jewish wisdom. RAIN, for those of you who've been around, no, that's an acronym. That's not literally rain, but go ahead,
Thank
Ali.
you.
What's
Thank you for that
what's about?
reminder. Yes, RAIN is an acronym for that's a process for navigating emotions, especially powerful emotions and challenging emotions. It's been life-changing for me, popularized by Dr. Tara Brach, who is a mentor of mine, and I'm a student of hers. And it would be great to see you there. It's such a joy to teach this course. But if we don't connect there, I will see you at the next IJS Daily Sit. And in the meantime, in the midst of such a harsh era in world history, may you just be as gentle with yourself as possible,
Mhm.
and have a really wonderful Pesach. Okay.
Okay, I'm into that. I'm into that. For those of you who are traveling, I want to wish you safe travels. Just a reminder, yes, first of all, just for those who are looking for Passover resources on the YouTube channel, there are several playlist videos. Some of you may recall Rabbi Sam Feinsmith and Rabbi Miriam Mergels have each led a week-long series leading up to Passover, and there are really some very wonderful sessions that they led. Each one is its own playlist, so you should be able to find that material and certainly make use of the last three of our record, today and yesterday's session with Yiska Smith and the one I led on Friday on Bidikat Chametz, on the internal checking for Chametz. So that's it for now. So want to again wish everyone a Chag Sameach, Chazis and Pesach. Thanks, Natalie, for holding us together today and sending us off so beautifully. And we'll hope to see everyone back here on Monday at our usual time. Chag Sameach, everyone.